So happy Monday, gents. Good to see you guys. Good to be here, considering I had a little boo-boo over the weekend. So I was driving on Saturday to two soccer games in Erie, Pennsylvania. So what, hour and a half drive or so. And all of a sudden, I dozed off at the wheel and woke up going into 2 feet of snow in the median and tried to figure out how to make sure that I did not flip the car or injure my daughter or myself. And it was wild, wild. So, yeah, it was at 1:15 on a Saturday afternoon. Now, it's definitely a little scary. Was wide awake at the end of it, as you would imagine, but it was crazy, man. So, I will say this, I would tell you I got 8 hours of sleep the night before, but it was a really long week of travel and activity and stuff like that, the week, like Monday through Friday, and got in the car, driving, it's nice and warm, quiet. Daughter's got her headphones in, and I just nodded off. So I had the realization, obviously, that, you know, the stuff that we preach all the time is definitely accurate and probably we need more of to our clients. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting you say that. I mean, they always say number one thing for sports and everything is sleep, right? And it's not just necessarily the night before, but I mean, I don't even know how you address that in terms of managing and driving workforce, but the reality is it does have an impact. You know,
yeah.
number one thing is sleep.
Yeah, I mean, okay, hindsight's 2020. So looking back on it, you know, did the old couple of times while we're driving, and you're like a little nod and you're like, no, I'm good, a little face slap. But at that point, should have probably gotten off, right? Got out of the car, got a coffee, done something, right? So I think some of it is just like realizing you're fatigued and just doing something about it, right?
Mhm.
Versus like, no, I'm just going to be the hero and continue driving. So yeah, I have to own that one.
Yeah,
That's a
I
big
definitely
mistake.
say caffeine is your friend. Hopefully drivers understand that or, other forms of stimulant, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that's why those the truck stops have so many options in terms of caffeinated beverages and whatnot. So
Well, for sure. And then, driving home that night back from the games was like, there we dialed in.
yeah.
So
I think I mean, first of all, thank God nothing bad happened. I mean, I could only imagine hitting freaking 2 feet of snow at 70 miles an hour. I mean, my God. But it's, a realization of what's really out there and what, the industry faces, particularly in crunch time, right? I mean, you think about our clients, they're dealing with this all the time, and especially when you're dealing with driver shortages on top of that. So I guess, the key thing I took from that, what you just said was like before you got 8 hours, but you had a horrific week of travel, that kind of caught up to you. So I think that just reinforces, for safety and loss control, that those appropriate actions and watching for signs of fatigue or how you're designing your routes, for your driver base, capping, shift lengths, to a certain amount. They're not stacking, one night route with a day route or something along those lines, not giving the drivers enough, buffer time or enough breaks, not enforcing breaks. How many times would you, probably say there was a break built into a schedule, but somebody tries to be a hero and just plows through it, right? So I think those are the things where it's like, it's a real issue,
well, it just what you said, spot on, right? Like I think with the 1099 drivers that a lot of our customers work with, right? They want them to work for multiple companies to reinforce the independent contractor model. The problem could be your guy, 1099 driver is doing a night shift for somebody, and then he's coming on and doing a day shift for you, and you would never really know that, right? Think about how dangerous then that might be.
No, but you know what? Technology could help with that though. I mean, if you've got something that's tracking hours worked and things of that's more universal versus just tethered to a motor carrier, that could be a way to police that down the road. And
I would put a plug in for Jeep Wagoneer, which handled 2 foot of snow. I won't say with ease, but very safely. But it's, and again, we've talked about it in other videos, like going through the driving lessons, like trying to teach the kids to drive. Like the number one thing was like, you gotta not hammer the brakes or anything like that to like, so I autopilot went on in my head in terms of good driving instruction, I guess. So thankfully,
Glad you're safe, buddy.
yeah, it was something.
But I think the one thing that I was thinking too is, when you talk about driver fatigue, I wonder how much, cameras, forward facing and rear facing cameras will come into play, recognizing, drivers' eyelids, getting tired, getting fatigued, that kind of thing. I wanted to have that
Yeah.
technology now.
Yeah, Drive, that I guarantee you when we post this, Drive folks will hop on and repost and add stuff because their system is the one that tracks eye movement and like calls you out on it. And
Samsara does the same. I mean, I think I mean it's freaking brilliant, to be honest with you. And people have been reluctant, but I don't look at it as a safety precautionary device for myself first. I mean, just case in point, right? Like, although I can see you, I'm not that tired.
I mean, it's
sure was.
it's an issue. I mean, how many claims? I mean, we've been doing this for 20 years. How many claims we've seen where a driver fell asleep?
Yeah.
I've had a couple, right?
Well, I'll tell you, and you never know, right? Because they'll also give you the old deer ran across the road, right? Or an animal jumped in front of the car. Like that's always been the tell for like you fell asleep at the wheel. The other thing I'd say is it's crazy, and I had warned my son about this as we were driving in the snow. Like if you get into a pile of snow, like it pulls your car into it, right? That's like something that our friends in the South don't get a chance to experience, and I would have preferred not to experience at full speed on Saturday. But yeah, I mean, it definitely, as soon as it caught the snow on the edge of the road, it was straight into the median with it. It was wild. So
Crazy. Remember
they got a lot west on yesterday before I watched the Super Bowl, so I was ready to go.
Don't you remember when that heck? Well, it was ice. Remember when we were in high school and I was following you to the mall on Hunt?
Oh well, yeah, and you spun it.
Yeah, spun it into not the median, but side of the ditch or the side of the road into where the pipes in the water run through. Whatever.
The better question is how did the phone call with your wife go after everybody was okay?
First of all, daughter was super calm, believe it or not, was very, very calm with everything. And my first text to Kelly was, I don't want to scare you, but I'm sitting in the middle of the median in the snow.
I don't give it up on making that text.
So how did you get?
So call roadside, and so Cincinnati is my personal insurer. Called roadside through them. They dispatched a tow truck. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this the old effort. So a little, you'd rock it in the snow and try and get it out, which went okay. But the problem is the closer you got to the road, the car like turned. So it was perpendicular at oncoming traffic, right? So you're like here, and you don't have much of an inner lane like to work with. So it was, I got it out, which I was very happy with myself for. So I didn't have to wait for the tow truck. But yeah, it was, I prefer not to repeat that experience again in the future.
Yeah, I would certainly think so.